Welcome to another episode of Burning Questions. In this episode we'll be discussing competency. I'm joined today by Chris Greenhough of Skanska. So Chris, I think we first met a number of years ago at one of the exhibitions, but tell our audience about who you are.
So my name's Chris Greenhough. I'm a fire engineering manager for Skanska, and for those that don't know much about Skanska, we're across the construction industry, so we're in civils, infrastructure, buildings, also building services and building services management. My role is to support our project teams and their members in anything fire related, whether it's technical guidance or our Skanska procedure on how we manage fire.
Excellent. Very important and responsible job.
Lots to do. It's good fun.
So, competency. Could you tell us what competency means to you?
Yes, and my opinion has changed over the last couple of years, and I guess that's me building my competency.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's having the right skill set to complete a task. So in terms of skills, I mean having the knowledge being learning qualifications is a good one, but it can also be through toolbox talks and CPDs and on the job learning as well. Backing that up, experience.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So getting yourself in situations, broadening that experience is only going to make you better, and it's only going to improve quality. And you'll make some mistakes along the way, and they're all good learning points. Over the last couple of years, behaviour has really sort of come to light for me, and something that I hadn't really acknowledged. And when building a few years ago, I would, from my own point of view, I would try and solve everything, not understanding my competence level and also the support out there. So it's sort of understanding where your limits are, but also where you can find those people with those skills to increase that confidence. So it's always a tricky one, competence, but for me that is it in a nutshell.
No, that's really good, and I love your point, and the audience will forgive me for again repeating it, but I'm often quoted as saying that competency is knowing what you don't know. Yes, it's about what you know and your skills and experience and what you have done, but it's knowing, as you say, your limitations and being prepared to go and get help from those that do know and those that are competent. So that's a really good point. So why would you say competency is important to you and your organisation?
I would say if you look at it the other way, without competence, you open yourself up to so much risk. I always give examples, but if you ask me to wire your office, there's a good chance it'll probably go wrong. It won't work. You'll be maintaining it for the rest of your time here, and I'll probably hurt myself as well on the way. So it can be dangerous not being competent. Safety in the installation, but also you're probably going to get a substandard product at the end of the day, and spend a lifetime trying to put that right. So the competency gives the customer the reassurance, the confidence that you're going to get a high quality product at the end of the day.
And I guess from a Skanska perspective, you're interested in costs as well. And at the end of the day, having a competent supply chain, competent people, you're actually in control of your costs, as you say. You know, doing things wrong and maintaining them and putting things right has a negative effect there as well.
Yeah, and the costs, that's the challenge, because it comes at a cost, competency. You've got to invest to train people, to get the right level of staffing, and people looking after the money will want to hold on to that money, and they won't want to spend so much. But you will spend money later in the day taking stuff out, services out, redoing it, and it will impact your program. And those costs, I think, tend to get hidden, but it needs that approach to come on, let's drive, let's get competent. And that's not, I concentrate on installers, but that's also competence of Skanska as well, and our own staff. And don't put people in charge of managing packages without them understanding the whole process. So we're doing a lot of work on that, and shining the light on ourselves to be more knowledgeable, especially technically, about some of the systems that are being installed.
Excellent. So what do you think can be done to support greater competency across the industry?
I think a uniform approach. There's a lot of focus on competency at the moment. A lot of people are waiting for government to lead. I think everybody needs to pave their own path, but it wants to be a joint effort at the same time. There's some really good work with accreditation schemes, especially for installation. I think that's really, really good. I would like to see more, not more accreditation schemes, but the accreditation schemes looking at the maintenance as well. There's a lot for the install, less so for maintaining, and I think there's a lot of buildings out there that would benefit for increasing the competence of maintenance. Other things that are easy is keeping the conversation going. So we're talking today about competency, and that will be reaching out to an audience, and that will get people thinking, and hopefully they'll take something away from this discussion. Within Skanska, we're keen on knowledge sharing and how we can do that better and quicker. It's quite common that we'll be building in one area, and they come into an issue and they solve it, and a mile down the road, same project, same issue. We need to be talking to each other, and that's just within our own business, and we're getting much better at that. And then what is quite good is the webinars and the CPDs that are available out there. Keep pushing with that, and I think that is really going to support us and put the sector in a good place. Yeah, sure. And I guess I could probably summarise a couple of those points with communication and collaboration, which are two, I suppose, everyday words we use, but they are really important. As you say, communicate. If you've got a challenge on one project, the chances are you've got that same challenge or opportunity, whichever way you want to look at it, on another project. And likewise, there's probably other, what you might even deem as your competitors, but with the same challenge. So I guess where the Passive Fire Knowledge Group has been established in recent months, again, that's about that collaboration and sharing of best practice, standardization of processes. It's all good stuff. Any thoughts on what other positive changes you see happening across the industry? Which yes, and it's coming right from the tenders. The questions that we're starting to see from the clients, they're interested about competence, how we're going to manage that process, how robust it is. Tell us what you do, which is really, really good to see. No, that's excellent, and I think it probably alludes to the point your earlier point about behaviours. In the past, there may have been this, a certain element of compliance. Yeah.
but actually wanting to do the right thing, wanting to be competent, wanting to build to a quality standard, and wanting to put fire safety as part of the agenda and high up the agenda. I think that's definitely a cultural change we've seen in recent years.
And coming back to your point on communication and collaboration, that is another positive change that I'm seeing. You're seeing more key stakeholders being involved earlier. It's still not enough, and it's probably still not early enough, but you can see the fire strategy it feels like it's gaining more weight. People are more interested. We're challenging it, and we're bringing in the manufacturers, the specialist installers, and getting round a table and discussing how we can make a better building. Make it simpler, make it robust, but also let's all understand what the other person's doing.
Absolutely.
as well. And I don't think we've been doing that so much in the past. No. But we're not all going to be experts, but understand what helps the next person.
100%,
rather than doing that on site. Let's get that done at design stage if we can.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. Yeah. Good. In terms of other challenges that you may still be facing, willing to share a few?
Yeah. Well, rolling on from that point, I said there's not enough of it. In my opinion, it's shifting that mindset, and we've heard about cultural change, early engagement, and I understand the challenges with cost and time, because there's often the programs and that period of time you have before you start on site. It feels like if you don't start on that day, you're failing. But who's going to be strong enough? And this is where the client's really good. If we can get talking to the client, is, do you know what? Let's have another bit of period. Let's really get into the detail. Let's design that. Let's bring some more people in. Let's try and do it without increasing costs too much. Okay, there might be a bit of increased cost there, but let's not design in the construction phase. It's so difficult, and you will not get that quality that everybody is really striving for. So you need to almost slow down to speed up. But hopefully, if we can standardise our approach and make it work, then we'll see the efficiencies. So that's the challenge. It's easy to talk a good game, isn't it? It's now bringing everybody along with it, and with time will tell.
Time will tell. Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point, and I guess, as you say, it probably starts with a mindset change. Yes, you might need to allocate more time and possibly even more resource up front. But ultimately, as you say, you slow yourself down at that stage to make yourself go faster. You've got a standardised, the detailed design. The project management, the build phase can potentially become quicker and more stress free.
and also you've got half your record keeping's complete. You've got half of the information there when you're producing your fire safety manual or your O&M or complying with Regulation 38. We've just done a large part of that work. You don't need to be scrambling in the last 10 weeks of the project to try and find these records. Now you're just confirming what you've built is correct, and adding the certification with it. But again,
which probably leads us on to the next question. Really, is what are you doing? Obviously, you've got some inside knowledge of what you've rolled out yourselves as an organisation, but what are you doing in that sense to get ahead of legislation and to encourage competency?
There's a couple of things there. We've expanded. We've got a dedicated fire team within Skanska, which I'm part of to provide support and guidance. So if anybody's struggling within the business, they can come and talk to us about anything. And if we don't know, and if I don't know the answer, I'll go and find someone that does know the answer. Another thing is we've got a couple of working groups as well, and that involves people from all parts of our business come together to look at the new legislation that's coming in, how it's going to impact us, whether it's procurement, design, construction, and see how we can bring that new legislation into our procedures that are already existing. And then as a fire team, we have a couple of documents that we're rolling out to help document and tabulatize the information. So the information for fire, people are doing it. It's already there.
Regulation 38 is nothing new.
No.
It's the format.
But you find if you look at your document structure, and I can only talk from personal experience, some people may have this sorted, but fire touches on so many different aspects. And what we're trying to do is just bring that into almost like a directory, bring that to one place. So we've got a document for how we're going to manage it, and then we've got a document to say, this is how we're going to record it all, and this is where it will be. And hopefully that will be transferable to the client so then they can manage their building effectively and safely.
Excellent. Good standardised process.
Hopefully, yes, yes.
Good. So just a final thought on competency, as we said, about knowing your limitations. So when something is outside the scope of your competency, what's your approach? What would you do then?
First of all, I determine whether it is outside. So if I feel like it's outside, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I will go to, if it's a project-related question, I'd go and see the fire strategy. So try and get back to the origin of where the questions come from, because the answer might be there. Yeah. And the fire strategy will tell you how that building is being designed to comply. Approved document B, fire safety, building regulation. I will look there and the various British and European standards. But I will always, whenever I'm answering, I back it up by standards.
Yep. Evidence.
I don't form my own opinion. But also reaching out to the person that I'd feel would be responsible for it. And we've employed people as part of the team. There'll be someone there that can answer it. So my colleague, head of fire, he's very knowledgeable, so he's a great person to lean on. Yeah. But also try and find the right person, whether that's the fire engineer, manufacturer, supplier, specialist contractor. Yeah. The knowledge will be out there, and I know Quelfire do some videos. I'm often on LinkedIn looking at some of the new tested details, so I can see how proactive you guys are in supporting, and that's what we want is people there, not just at the start, but that whole process of supporting. And I'm hoping those questions will become less and less as we build more of a team with that technical knowledge.
Excellent. No, that's appreciate the feedback, and it's probably going to be my final question. Actually, was how can Quelfire support you in gaining more competency? As you referred to, we obviously do a lot of education where we can, CPDs, and also the content we put out on YouTube and LinkedIn. I always say there's no such thing as a duff question. If someone's got a question, then it's likely there's lots of other people with the same question. So we do our best to try and answer those. But I don't know, maybe there are other ways that we can help support competency across the industry in relation to fire safety. Be glad of your thoughts.
Yeah, it's for me, the early engagement is really key.
Yep.
And that's bringing in the project team members as well. I bring those guys and girls in earlier.
Yep.
To understand the process where it starts. So we're not handing over packages at the construction phase.
Yep.
We want to develop it together.
Yeah.
And it's that proactive approach is come and share your problems before it's been built. Let's thrash this out and have a look over the table. And it's interesting your technical team, have you thought about this? Because we've been on projects where this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. Oh, I've noticed your slab structure. You've gone for the crinkly tin. The tested details are limited on that. We've got this and this one. And it's that bouncing of ideas with the right people, with the right knowledge. For me, is that front end focus is where I would like to see the support and that proactiveness, because I think that will help then shift the mindset. When people, you can talk about it, but then when people see it happening, they start believing in, this can work. Actually, that was really good. I've been into, it's a bit off topic, but you might go to a conference or a talk where you think, it's not really for me. I don't think this is really suited to me, but I'll go and listen to it. And then you come out thinking, I'm really glad I went. I can see how that's benefiting. It's sort of opening up that mind. I digress slightly, but I think
I think that's really good.
Make my point is, we just need to raise that awareness.
Absolutely. So watch this space. We do intend to roll out more educational content around the early engagement side of things, but definitely something we firmly believe too is the, as we said earlier, the collaboration of all the different trades, project managers, design managers, but then each individual trade, whether it's dry liners, M&E consultants, and of course the fire stopping specialists. Getting everybody together at that early stage is absolutely fundamental. So no, that's really interesting, Chris, and appreciate your time. If you've got any final thoughts or comments to wrap up, more than glad to make more space for them.
I guess to end on a positive, really. I'm seeing so much hard work from all aspects of the sector. Certainly, I've been helped with trying to roll out procedures within our organisation. The interest from my colleagues trying to make the system better, wanting to know, wanting to do better. So the attitude and the appetite is there, and it's really good to see. And when talking to other stakeholders, it's great to see that replicated. So I think we're
in a good place.
We're in a good place, and we're going on the right trajectory. We're moving forward. So hopefully that will continue at a rate.
No, I think that's an excellent point. A very positive spin, as you say. Change is happening. The key message is, are you going to be part of it? I suppose, but you've got good signs there. So excellent, good. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Competency with Chris from Skanska. So once again, thanks for your time, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one.